Chandler Jones is listed at 6'1". He's not that. But what he lacks in a major league frame, he more than makes up for with a potentially elite major league arm. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning from Bradenton, Florida. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Did you notice the hesitation there before I said football? It's because when you come down here, and this goes for whether you're with the Pirates or whether you're covering them like I am, or even if you just come down to enjoy the spring training settings, you get lost in baseball. I don't know how to satisfactorily describe that to you. If you think about the three teams that I cover, one of them, the Steelers, are heading into the NFL scouting combine. I pay no attention to it, like not at all. The Penguins, who I'd been around every day for about 2 months, are out in Western Canada, and I'm just here, and I just lock in, and I know for a fact that I'm not alone in this. I talk to people who come visit all the time, and it just becomes about baseball, which is really, really cool, but especially on a day like this. I want to believe in this franchise's next wave of young pitching. I want this. I'm not dumb enough to actually do it. Not yet. Because I just watched Roansy Contreras, Johan Oviedo, Luis Ortiz, and to an extent, Quinn Priester take significant steps backward in different ways. So whatever everyone was so stoked about with that wave, it's now going to happen like Lucy holding the football all over again. So in that context now, yesterday the Pirates played the Tigers here at Lecom Park, and Priester started the game 6 up, 6 down, 19 pitches, used 6 different pitches in his arsenal, all of them, and was able to execute all of them except the curve. And he was convinced, somewhat jokingly, he was sharing this afterward, that if he'd gone out for a third inning, he would have nailed the curve. That's how strong he felt. That's how authoritative wait, what was his word? Athletic. He said he felt athletic on the mound. I have no idea what the hell that means. I really don't. I'm sorry. I'm picturing Usain Bolt out there, I don't know, sprinting toward home plate, waving the Jamaican flag or something. Hey, whatever works, okay? Whatever gets into an athlete's head to help them feel athletic, great. He pitched really, really well. This was not Detroit's best lineup. They came a long way. It's a long trip from Lakeland. You don't drag your veterans around like that. The Pirates don't do it either when they go out there. So you knew you were going to face a lighter set of bats, but that really shouldn't take away, I think, from the execution of his pitches, from the shape of the pitches. And oh, by the way, his four-seam fastball was coming in at around 94 miles an hour. And that's about a half a mile faster than his norm. The slider, which might be more of a cutter, it looked to me, from my vantage point, like it was his best pitch. I asked him about that.
Oh, yeah. When turn around, saw 88. I'm like, that's exactly what we want, man. That's it. And those the swings were telling me that was good, too. So was really pleased with that pitch today, for sure.
Hey, great. If that's what he feeds off, meaning the arsenal being as diversified as it is, and he's not worried about having to be able to execute so many different types of pitches in the course of a single outing, then if that becomes his strength, that leads very nicely into being a starter, especially a modern day starter where more and more analytics argue against allowing pitchers to face the same batting order multiple times. Jared Jones came next. Pitched really well. Well, let me rephrase that. He threw really well. He threw really hard. 99.7 miles an hour on his peak fastball. I thought he flew open a few times too many when throwing the fastball. I brought that up with him afterward. He didn't agree. He just said, I'm just throwing. His word, not mine. But there's plenty there. My goodness, what an arm. I mean, this kid can really bring it. And it comes from one of those 75% arm angles that you expect from a bigger pitcher. It's not something that you expect from a guy who's smaller because then it's a whole downward plane thing and whatever. But as he's throwing the ball, you can see where, well, here, listen to the way Derek Shelton described this. This will do it better than I will.
He's got good stuff. I mean, he's not a big guy, but the ball comes out hot, and it comes out with an extra gear in it at times, which is good to see. And there's some deception there because of his size, but overall, I mean, he's made a really good impression. The conversations that we have had about him organizationally, I mean, he's coming as advertised.
Yeah, he's deceptive by not being big, and when you step into the box against him, the first thought that a hitter might have is, well, he's not a big guy, and I've faced guys who aren't that big, and this is the way they throw. Well, this one doesn't. This one throws as if he's 6'5" or 6'6". And again, I'm not talking about his velocity. I'm talking about that angle. That's neat. That's good stuff. Now, he hasn't pitched in Double-A, so don't start, booking tickets in advance hoping to see his major league debut in 2024, but he's going to move up sooner rather than later. He's not going to give management a chance to hold him down. But look, I'm also going to throw in that Rowanzi Contreras pitched well on Monday, that Luis Ortiz pitched well on Tuesday, and now that gets followed up by Priester and Jones pitching well yesterday. And hey, guess who's going today? Yeah, Paul Skeens will make his spring debut in Sarasota against the Orioles. He'll be facing Jackson Holliday, the previous number 1 overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft. That'll be fun. Corbin Burns opposing him for the Orioles. Also fun. I'll be here covering that, and I'll share all my observations on the show tomorrow when we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern, that's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park. Today's J1Q comes from Jason, who asks, is Ke'Bryan Hayes the cornerstone of the team? That's tough. Mostly because the question begets another question, which is, if he isn't, then who is? I feel as if the cornerstone player doesn't always have to be your most talented, but it also doesn't have to be someone who's a leader, vocal or otherwise. So if you strip away any pre-criteria to this, you probably come away with a maybe. Because the one thing that Key's going to be able to do for you for the duration of his contract, you can take this to the figurative bank. So he's going to defend. He's going to save you some runs at the third base position. He's going to get you double plays at the third base position that are going to make an impact on the team no matter how he hits. That's not going to be cornerstone material. but that's going to be consistency, which is valued more in baseball than in any other sport. So that's a really, really good start. But he needs to hit the way he did over the final 2 months and change of 2023 to be thrown into any kind of cornerstone conversation. And I don't know that he can do that. That's not me doubting him, but that's also not me jumping onto the bandwagon. I need to see more. I need to believe that the instruction that he received from John Nunnally, who's now no longer with the team since the Pirates thought it was a good idea to fire the guy who fixed their potential cornerstone player. I need to know that that's going to apply long term, that it's not just some gimmicky move the hand a millimeter this way on the bat and see what it does for you, kid level of tutelage. It needs to be something that really would have pushed him through. I'd like to believe, and I have believed for a long time, that because of Key's exit velocity, and this goes back to the minor leagues, that there's always been a way to unlock his hitting, meaning to turn that exit velocity into something that, gets the ball over the infielders' heads. In the minors, that used to drive people nuts, including advanced statisticians, because they were like, we're watching this kid, we're seeing him smoke the ball, but there's nothing there for batting average. And there's every once in a while a chance that he'll go into a slump because he'll get beat up by the results. And that's when you see Key really go down into the dumps the way he was. You might remember this. I was out covering the series in Seattle where against the Mariners, he was just dying. I mean, there was nothing happening there, and it started to really affect him mentally. And his at-bats were just these lost causes. Do you remember this? Bases loaded, and he would just come up and just flail for 3 quick strikes. Almost looked like he didn't care, which, of course, is crazy. But that's how bad that got. I want to see him, A, avoid those types of slumps, and B, when he has them, to climb out of them a lot earlier. But to take my mythical second half to your question, if it's not him, I don't know who it would be. Brian Reynolds doesn't have cornerstone numbers, nor does he have a cornerstone persona. Nobody would think to be building their baseball team around Reynolds, and take that from somebody who respects him and his career immensely. So who is it? I don't know. It's going to have to be somebody who challenges for an MVP or somebody who challenges for a Cy Young. So maybe we'll find out by, the end of the day today. Yeah? If Skeens pitches well, he's the guy. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates, and we will do this again tomorrow.